Everyone thought he was a useless loser who gets bitten by a zombie and gets overpowered abilities. Aiko lived in a world where the greatest threat to humanity is the iron-hearted zombies called Kaban. These monsters appeared out of nowhere 20 years ago, and they could not be killed until their armored hearts were crushed. But that was nearly impossible because the world was still in the era of samurais and guns, and America were still a thing of the future. The zombies rampaged throughout the world, killing people and turning them into one of their own, to cling on to their survival. The remaining humans held up in heavily fortified cities and used heavily armored trains to travel and transport rations. In on such fortified city, a train mechanic called Aiko is trying to be the Iron Man of their world by creating a weapon to pierce the iron heart of the zombies. He thinks that the people who have abandoned their pride and hide behind the walls to survive are just a bunch of sisses, and real men defeat their enemies or die trying. He uses a high-pressure version of a nail gun to pierce through a metal plate, using it as a substitute for the zombie heart, but fails to penetrate it. Disappointed by his yet another failure, he goes to the railway yard to work on repairs, where almost everyone teases him, calling him the hero wannabe. Aiko gets on a train coach to do the usual maintenance and gripes about his failures. So his friend suggests he use more explosives. Aiko likes the idea and ditches the work to go back to his lab, when suddenly he finds the entire workshop has come to a standstill. Because of an unusual guest, Princess Ayam has come to visit the mechanics because her father's steam-powered gun needs to be fixed. While everyone is in awe of her, Aiko doesn't want to pay that much attention because it was her family who cowardly hid behind the walls instead of fighting. He is about to go to his workshop, but the foreman calls him to take a look at the gun because he is lucky the most talented guy there. Aiko rudely takes the gun from Ayam and begins examining it, when suddenly someone comes running to inform them that the train with some refugees has arrived. He is shocked to hear that because the train was supposed to arrive the next day. But then learns that a station in the way got destroyed, so it did not have to make a stop there. Anyway, the entire workforce of the railway yard gathers around the train, with the doctors sit through hours of unwanted strip shows, examining every nook and cranny of the people who are coming in to make sure that they are not infected. Aiko is pissed at this too, but his friend tells him that this is a basic quarantine procedure. Anyway, after the checkup catches pace, Aiko and his teammates get the job to wash the blood and grime from the train's surface. Aiko finds some traces of a zombie and collects them to research it. His friend tries to stop him because it is against the rules and also dangerous. But Aiko is a man of science, and he doesn't worry about either of those things. Just then, a girl gets off from the train, and Aiko is left stand by her. A guard rushes to stop the girl, telling her that SHE needs to get her body checked too. But SHE just hits the PDF file guard with her toy, and says that he doesn't even know who he is talking to. The guard is about to use force when suddenly, Aiko and her dad come there and claim that the girl is their guest. A priest also comes there, and both he and the lowly get to leave without getting themselves checked. Just then, a guy runs from the train with the doctors yelling that he is infected with the zombie curse. The guards shoot warning shots to make him trip, and then surround him. The man begs them, saying he is not a zombie, but they are ready to end his life. Aiko yells at them to stop, and then steps in front of the men, telling the soldiers that the rule states that if anyone is suspected of being a zombie, they are put in jail for 3 days. The guards whoop his ass for trying to teach them the rules, and during that, the zombie specimens Aiko collected get tossed out of his bag. Everyone freaks out and suspects him of being infected too. But the other guy uses this chance to run away. The soldiers shoot him with their steam-powered guns, and as he dies, everyone realizes that he was not infected. The soldiers don't even care as they take his body away to dispose of. And Aiko curses them, asking if they have no shame or humanity left. Yam's dad tells him that a lowly mechanic like him shouldn't talk back to warriors. And Aiko goes towards him, telling him that his weapon is soon going to get completed. His bodyguard Kurusu knocks Aiko out, and Yam's dad orders him to be thrown into prison. Ayam is worried about this being excessive, but he tells her that it is their duty to protect love and order. At night, the lowly mume visits Aiko in his cell and asks him how he knew that the guy was not infected. Aiko replies that he didn't, but he couldn't let him die without proof. He says that he hates the losers who gave up their humanity because of the fear of Zombies, but don't have enough balls to go out and fight them. At the same time, another train arrives at the city gates, and the guards open the gates for it. However, when the train doesn't slow down, they think that something is wrong. And only once it gets close do they see that it has been overrun by zombies. The guards try to close the gates to stop them, but it is too late. The train derails as it enters the city and creates massive explosions as it crashes. Zombies crawl out of that explosion and attack every person they spot. On seeing this, Mum runs away, and the guards also rush to face the situation, leaving Aiko alone. Hae uses a wire to open the lock of his cell and rushes to his lab so that Hae can use his weapon. On the other hand, the bigwigs, including the priest and Aime's dad, abandon the city to go somewhere safe, leaving Aime behind to fend for herself. The people try to get on the train, but the guards point their guns at them, asking them to strip and show that they are not infected before being let on. While the city is getting destroyed at the hands of the zombies, Aiko rushes to his shed and cuts his arm to lure a zombie. Soon, a zombie follows the trail of blood to his shed, where Aiko is waiting ready, with the new and improved version of his piercing gun. However, the zombie attacks him from the roof and not the front door because it was not as dumb as everyone thought. Aiko struggles against it, but manages to shoot it through the heart with the piercing gun. As Hae realizes that Hae succeeded in killing a zombie, Hae rejoices. But then suddenly, Hae feels a sharp pain in his arm that was just bitten by the zombie. As the virus begins spreading through his body, Aiko doesn't panic, but wonders what Hae can do to save his life. To stop the virus from reaching his head, Hae encases his arm in metal and tightens the metal cage around it. But the virus does not stop, as Hae puts a noose around his neck and uses a machine to pull it as tightly as it can. Hae puts his entire strength into suppressing the virus, swearing that Hae is not the same weakling Hae was 5 years ago when Hae watched his sister die. Hae succeeds in suppressing the flow of the virus through focus, commitment, and sheer freaking will, and then falls to the ground, losing his consciousness. On the other hand, the priest and Mume reach the palace in the center city. But Hae tells her that Hae can't go on any further. Hae has been injured by the zombies, as Hae uses a homemade bomb to blow off his heart before Hae can turn into one. And Mume rushes ahead alone. As Hae finds a zombie approaching her, but as Hae is ready to face it too. As Hae lets the zombie come close, and then kicks it with her spiked sandal, cleanly tearing off its head. On the other hand, Aiko wakes up soon and finds that Hae is still a human. Hae is overjoyed, and soon, his friend also arrives there. On seeing the condition of the room and a dead zombie there, Hae asks Aiko if he killed it, and Hae proudly affirms. His friend is ecstatic too, but when Hae learns that Aiko got beat by a zombie too, Hae suddenly starts fearing for his life. Outside, the city is a complete mess, and Aime somehow leads the guards to stop the ever-growing horde of zombies from entering the shelter. One elder says that they should move to the next city as well, but Aime says her dad asked her to wait for his signal. The soldier tells her that her dad will give the signal when his dad comes back with milk, and that is never. Hae says they should head out right now, when suddenly, Mume comes there, dressed in a weird cosplay outfit. One guy tries to shove her away, but Hae shows her martial arts skill and immediately slams him to the ground. Hae says that they can't wait for any signal, as Hae is going to open a path for them to run to the train. Hae runs to the center of the zombies and begins checking her weapons. As a zombie attacks her from behind, Hae uses her knife to slice its head off, and throws it in front of other zombies. Enraging them, they chase after her, leaving the way for those who want to escape using the train. Mume lures the zombies to the destroyed parts of the city, and using her Olympic-level agility and specialized weapons, Hae manages to pierce through their hearts without getting hit. Hae kills all the zombies one by one, and everyone safely reaches the train. Aiko and his friend also arrive there, but the guards stop them from entering the train. They ask them to strip to prove they are not infected, and Aiko is about to do so. But his friend stops him because that won't end well. Just then, two zombies come there, and Aiko thinks this is his chance to prove that Hae is on humanity's side. Hae charges his gun from the pressure in the train, but before Hae can get a chance to act, Mume arrives there and makes quick work of the zombie. Aiko recognizes her, and Hae recognizes him too. They both point out that they have changed their looks, and then Aiko remarks that Hae is much stronger than Hae looks. Hae suddenly starts sniffing Aiko and figures out that Hae is not a human. but silently lives on her way. Just then, the elite samurai Kurusu comes there with other soldiers and points his gun at Aiko, saying he should be in jail right now. He suspects him of being a zombie because that would explain him getting out. But Mume says that they should let him on the train because he is not a zombie. Everyone gets on the train, and Aime uses the master key to turn it on. Mume also comes to the driver's cabin, and Kurusu tells her to guard the rear coaches. Mume tells him to do something himself too. She goes to sleep, saying that her battery is already drained. She covers herself with her cloak, and Aime thinks that she must be exhausted after all the fighting. While the crew tries to get the train running, more zombies come running towards them. They live in a hurry with the guards trying to protect them, but the zombies still manage to latch on the train. Aiko and Fatty are inside the train as well, and Aiko stops a steam pipe from falling on a girl with just on a hand, despite it being too heavy and hot for normal people to touch. Hae begins helping the other mechanics, when suddenly, a zombie starts squeezing through the gap in the door. Everyone panics, but Aiko rushes ahead to show his weapon. Hae opens the door, shoots the zombie, and throws it out of the train before turning to the people and declaring that now they can easily fight against the zombies. However, everyone is terrified of him because his body has started turning into a zombie, and his iron heart is visible. Aiko panics, saying that Hae should have stopped the flow of virus, and then tries to explain that Hae is still sane as long as the virus does not reach his brain. But even his friend is afraid of him now. Just then, Kurusu arrives there looking for the zombie, and the people there point at Aiko. Aiko tries to explain, but Kurusu is not going to listen to him. Hae shoots him point blank, and then orders his men to seal the door so that Hae does not come back inaczej. Aiko begins to lose consciousness as the zombies surround him, and his friend is devastated. Meanwhile, someone from the crew calls Kurusu to the control room because there is a horde of zombies in front of them. Kurusu thinks that there should be no problem for the train. However, as Hae climbs out of the latch to see what is going on, Hae finds that Aiko is among the zombies, and as Hae comes out to see the situation, Hae is heartbroken. Kurusu quickly brings her back inside the control room and tells her to forget about her dad because Hae is just a zombie now. Hae commands the train to run over the zombies, and they soon arrive at the gate of the next city. The driver ducks the train to the station and then tries pressing the switch to lower the bridge. But a zombie arm is stuck in the mechanism. Seeing no other option, Kurusu decides to head out and manually open the bridge. Everyone tries to stop him, saying it is too dangerous, but Hae says that as a samurai, it is his time to lay down his life to protect everyone. Just then, a person notifies them about someone fighting against the zombies outside. Aiko is back to his senses, and Hae is fighting the zombies as Hae heads towards the lever to lower the bridge. Hae is not doing this because Hae wants to be a hero, but a petty edgelord. Hae wants to show the people that the guy they threw out to saved their lives, and they will live their entire lives with this burden on their conscience. Hae manages to pull the lever and lower the bridge. But as the train passes him by, Hae suddenly breaks into tears. Fatty throws a hook at him to save him, but other people fight him over that. However, Aiko doesn't grab the hook because Hae has accepted his fate. But Mume arrives there just then and calls him pathetic for crying in public. Hae ties the hook around him and then tells his friend to pull him. Aiko throws a tantrum on reaching the train, telling his friend that there was no need to save a zombie like him. But Mume tells him to stop acting like a little bitch. Just then, Kurusu and the other soldiers come there and tell Aiko that if Hae still has his humanity left, Hae should just die at their hands. Aiko is ready to throw hands out of pure pettiness. But then Mume steps in between and says that Hae is not a zombie but not a human as well. As Hae takes off her shirt and reveals a wound in her back through which her iron heart glows. Everyone is dumbfounded to see that, and Mume says that they are not zombies, but Kabaneri. Hae says that they have the body of a zombie, but the mind of a human. So they are on the human side. Kurusu points his gun at her, saying that Hae is also an enemy of mankind in that case, and Mume says that if Hae comes at her, Hae will kill him. Kurusu is still not willing to back down. But just then, Aiko comes there and asks him to stand down. Hae says that they were able to escape from the zombies because of Mume and Aiko. But Kurusu says they should still not let them travel with them. Aiko agrees, saying that Hae is a zombie and can infect others, but Mume stops him from going out and slams him on the floor. Explaining that they are not zombies but Kabanerus, SHE ten turns to Iam. Asking if SHE can let them stay on the train till they reach the capital. Aiko tries to interrupt her, only to get his future generations crushed. And then Mume knocks him. A few hours later, Aiko wakes up and finds that his body has been completely healed. Mume is chilling nearby too because they have been locked in the boiler room as per her request, and SHE tells Aiko if he knows about the capital. Aiko says that they are at the forefront of research about zombies and they may be able to do something about their condition. Mume says that SHE has to reach the capital at all costs, because her brother has entrusted her with a mission, which SHE won't tell him. That is why SHE needs Aiko to come along because SHE can use him as a shield. Aiko doesn't understand what SHE means, but Mume says that SHE feels asleep when SHE moves around to move, as SHE will have to protect her at that time. With that, SHE suddenly starts training him, because despite his strength, HE has no skills. The training is mostly him getting humbled and slammed to the floor in different ways, and Mume calls him pathetic because HE can't hold his ground, even when SHE has her ribbon on which restrains her power. Suddenly, SHE feels the presence of a zombie nearby and rushes out of the boiler room. In the next room, a man is fighting with a pregnant woman over food, but as soon as they see Mume coming towards them, everyone runs away. Soon, Kurusu comes there too, along with Iam and other elders, who tell Iam that it was a mistake to trust the two zombies. Things start getting tense, but then suddenly, a blonde guy with a Victorian-era hairstyle comes there to tell Iam that their water supplies have reduced greatly, and they need to stop immediately so that they can continue their journey. This diffuses the tension somewhat, and the train soon stops next to a river. At night, Iam and others hold a mass funeral for all those who have lost their lives in this attack. While Aiko watches it from the boiler room, Mume asks him if he is not going to pray, and he tells her that he lost his family to the zombies many years ago. Mume says that it is the same with her and then asks about the stone in his hand. Aiko takes out his gloves as he looks at the stone and begins reciting his story. He got it from the riverside with his sister and gave it to her as a good luck charm. Then on a day, 5 years ago, zombies attacked their city, and the adults ran away, leaving them behind. They tried escaping too, but a zombie attacked Aiko's sister. That time, he was too scared to do anything and ran away to call for help. But no one would help him in that situation. When he returned back to see his sister, SHE had started turning into a zombie, and Aiko hugged her and cried as he tried to apologize. To stop her from turning into a zombie, he used a special explosive device to blow up her heart before SHE could transform. And ever since then, he carries the stone as her memento. He says that he should have died with her instead of running away, but there is no point in regretting the past now. At the same time, a group of peasants gather outside the boiler room after being riled up by an elder about the two Kabaneras. Aiko comes there to stop them, but they tell her that they should kill the zombies before they attack them. Aiko goes to the boiler room to explain things to Mume, who had already heard everything from inside. SHE says SHE will give her people what they want, and jumps out of the room, landing in front of the people who are too scared to do anything. Mume is ready to fight, but Aiko tells her not to make things worse for them. Suddenly, SHE feels the presence of the zombie again, and decides to go out, searching for it. In the meantime, Iam decides to clear the fear in the minds of her people by attacking Aiko. SHE stabs him with her knife, but he holds it. Iam asks him why he doesn't fight back, and Aiko tells her that he can't because he made a promise to his dead sister. He promised her that he would never run away, even if it meant losing his life, and he would never sacrifice another life. He swears that he will kill all the zombies, and then Iam asks if anyone still doubts him. Everyone heads back, and the conspirator is disappointed. Iam leads him back inside and apologizes for trying to stab him, and he says that he understands her situation. SHE begins leaving when suddenly Aiko collapses from the blood loss. On the other hand, Mume reaches the common area and starts playing with the kids. The mothers stop thinking of her as a threat, but then SHE says that SHE is hungry, and normal food won't satisfy her. SHE asks for blood, and everyone immediately turns against her. Mume tells them that SHE can't help it because blood is the only thing that can give her energy since her body is that of a zombie. Just then, SHE hears a bunch of people freaking out as a woman turns into a zombie. Mume quickly rushes towards her, grabbing swords from some warriors to finish her. Aiko's friend WHO was looking after the kids asks Mume to stop because the zombified woman is pregnant. But Mume doesn't hear that until SHE has stabbed the woman in the chest twice. On the other hand, Aiko tries to help Aiko, but his weakened body gives into his zombie instinct, and HE begins craving for blood. HE mindlessly attacks Aiko and pins her to the floor, and SHE has no idea why HE is attacking her. Aiko bears his fans and moves to beat her, and SHE can only stare at him in horror. Outside, everyone starts calling Mume a murderer for killing two birds with a stone, and SHE replies that there was no way to save the child because HE must have also been turned into a zombie. No one believes her, but then Mume suddenly senses a vast army of zombies heading towards them. Inside the boiler room, Aiko is about to beat Aiko when Kurusu arrives there and knocks him off. Aiko returns to his senses with that, and HE is horrified that HE tried to beat someone. Kurusu points his gun at him, but just then, Mume returns and tells Aiko that they need to move right now because the zombies are coming. Outside, people panic as they try to climb the train before it leaves, and the soldiers lock Mume and Aiko away because most of them can't trust to fight alongside them. The train begins moving again, but the people are more anxious than ever. They believe that Mume and Aiko attracted the zombies towards them, and the elders take advantage of this situation to pressure Aiko into accepting that SHE is not fit to lead them. They ask her to hand over the master key, and Aiko decides to give it up. As soon as the asshole elder gets the key, HE tells the driver to turn the direction towards the mountains. Aiko protests, saying that the mountains are dangerous because zombies have high ground there, but the guy tells her to get back to the kitchen and let him do his job. At the same time, Aiko is cursing himself for attacking Aiko, but Mume tells him that it is only natural since they are both hungry. Just then, the elders Luckies push all of Aiko's friends into the last room with them, saying that they don't need any zombie lovers among them. Fatty gives Aiko his glasses even though Aiko tells him to stay away because he might attack him. HE ignores him and hands him his piercing gun so that HE can fight against the zombies. When suddenly, Mume says that SHE was feeling hungry, and now they have some fresh meat on their hands. SHE goes to the pretty girl in the corner and asks if SHE can suck more than just her blood, and the girl suddenly realizes that SHE is one of the alphabet people. Meanwhile, Aiko's friends look outside and find the elders men freeing their tsar from the train. They yell at them to stop. So the men shoot at them, barely missing their heads. They are about to use the master key to separate the coach when suddenly the train passes under a bridge, and zombies jump on it from above. There is a special zombie amongst them that knows how to use a sword, and HE easily kills all those in his way with his sharp swords. Mume looks out of the small peephole and realizes that they are dealing with a special zombie. SHE tries shooting it from the hole, but the zombie swiftly dodges her attack, and then everyone it killed rises up as zombies too. The zombies begin infecting the train, and while the elder wants to remove the infected cars, Iam decides to go and save as many people as SHE can. SHE leads the warriors to form a line of defense against the zombies, and the big guy tells Kirusu to get his sword because chopping off zombie heads would be easier than blowing their hearts. HE immediately runs to get his sword, and in the meantime, the remaining people somehow hold the line. A boy gets pulled by the zombies, and HE decides to blow his heart to stop becoming one of them. But HE was sitting next to a barrel of fuel that explodes and creates a hole in the tsar. Just then, Kirusu returns with his sword and begins hacking down the zombies. At the same time, Aiko uses the emergency exit to get out of the last room so that HE can fight against the zombie swordsman and stop him. Mume is with him too, but SHE is feeling near her limit already. They run as soon as the train exits the tunnel and defeat the zombies that come in their way. However, Mume has run out of steam, and SHE falls asleep right on top of the train. At the same time, Kirusu has finished dealing with all the zombies, but then the evolved swordsman zombie attacks him. HE is taken aback by seeing a zombie using a weapon but still fights back. HE manages to push the zombie to the hole, but as HE tries stabbing its heart, his sword shatters, giving the zombie a chance to fatally wound him. His friends open fire on the zombie to rescue him, while Aiko is busying Mume to the rooftop so that SHE doesn't fall off. SHE tells him to kill the swordsman zombie and return alive, and then falls asleep. Just then, Aiko's friends also arrive there, and HE asks them to take care of Mume. HE tries walking ahead, but then suddenly, HE starts feeling weak and hungry too. Meanwhile, the zombie swordsman is wreaking havoc and pushing back the defense line continuously. Soon, Aiko reaches near them, and through the hole in the roof, Hae tells someone to give him a bit of blood, and Hae will surely take down the zombie swordsman. Everyone hesitates, but Aiko climbs up to the roof and slashes her hand, telling Aiko that this is a blood pact between them. In exchange for her blood, Hae will have to fight for them. Her blood splatters out, and the zombie swordsman also gets tempted bit. Kirusu attacks him to stop him from reaching Aiko, and in the time Hae manages to stall him. Aiko reaches Aiko and sucks the blood off her fingers. As the blood enters his iron heart, Hae feels great strength emerging within him and jumps on the zombie swordsman, easily knocking it to the ground. Hae stabs the zombie's heart with his piercing gun, killing him. After a moment of silence, Aiko begins chilling on Aiko, and the entire train joins her. Soon, the cleaning and repair of the train begins. Aiko and Miyume are hailed as their defenders, and Aiko gets the master key back alone with authority over the train. SKE declares that Aiko and Miyume will travel with them to the capital, and if they need blood, SKE will supply them. Kirusu says that SKE can't supply both of them, but Aiko's friends volunteer for the job. The warriors with Aiko also join them, including Kirusu. And with that, they resume their journey to the capital. Soon after that, the weird blonde guy in the crew uses Aiko's piercing gun as a reference to create advanced bullets that can pierce the zombie hearts. Also, Aiko tried coating the swords with the metal from zombie hearts to make them more durable. On the other hand, Miyume is chilling with kids when two guys fighting over food disturb her game. One of them even pulls out a knife, and SKE smacks the shit out of both of them and tells them to not fight in front of the kids again. Everyone applauds her, but Aiko tells her to stop creating trouble. Just then, Aiko also arrives there, and SKE fully supports Miyume for taking care of jerks in her way. SKE calls her the bodyguard of everyone on the train, and Miyume feels a bit embarrassed. Just then, the train comes to a halt as the driver pulls the emergency brakes. I asks what is wrong and learns that the city they were supposed to restock their supplies at is not responding. They take a closer look and find that the city has fallen to zombies, but there are some survivors. I sends a rescue party that brings back the survivors, and as they are getting some food, Miyume notices a familiar face in a one-legged man. Hae goes ahead, saying that Hae needs to use the toilet, but as Hae passes Miyume, Hae calls her outside. Miyume goes to meet him outside, where the guy named Inoku tells her that Hae has some information for her elder brother. Hae tells her that some government officials are hoarding weapons to kill humans and not the zombies, and Hae should beware of them. Hae also asks her to tell her brother that Hae will come to serve him whenever he calls, but Miyume says that her brother already kicked him out, so Hae won't bother. Hae turns around, but Inoku suddenly attacks her. Hae blocks his attack and tells him that if Hae tries this again, Hae will kill him. But then Hae takes out the revolver Hae had pointed at her the entire time. Hae tells her that Hae is getting dull, and Hae should focus only on killing zombies instead of socializing with others. Hae says that her brother is only keeping her around because Hae is killing zombies, and if Hae becomes useless, Hae would be disposed of like some other unfortunate ones. Onoku lives with this not as a friendly warning, and Miyume can't stop shaking because of the truth in his words. On the other hand, Aiko and others are coming up with a plan to pass through the city because that is the shortest route to the capital. The route is blocked, so Aiko suggests going to the central boiler room to operate the crane from there and comes up with a plan that has very low risk. Just then, Miyume also comes there. And after hearing everything, SKE decides that SKE is not going to follow the plan, because it is for cowards. Aiko tries explaining things to her, but SKE kicks him away, saying that SKE doesn't want his cowardice to rub on him. SKE says that SKE will do what SKE wants, and Aiko has a hard time convincing others that the plan will work even without her. After that, SKE goes to the boiler car and hauls up there, trying to calm her iron heart. Meanwhile, Aiko explains his plan to his friends because Hae needs them to operate the crane, and while nervous, they agree. Later, Aiko goes to the boiler room to get some supplies and asks Miyume if something happened because SKE is behaving oddly. SKE replies that nothing happened, and Aiko tells her to stop acting like SKE is Zoro. Hae asks if SKE will fight alongside them, and SKE agrees but refuses to take part in his plan. Aiko tells her to do as SKE wants but warns her to stay away from the boiler. room because that is where most zombies are gathered, and they need to be careful about it. Soon, the train reaches the city, and the task force heads out to remove the collapsed column from the track. Aiko's friends take their position in the crane control room while Hae rushes ahead to a strategic location where they can lure the zombies. However, Miyume runs straight towards the boiler room to take down all the zombies quickly and call it a day. Aiko curses her as Hae sees this and immediately heads to the boiler room to support her. Meanwhile, Miyume blows through the door of the boiler room and finds a huge horde of zombies waiting there for her. As Hae uses bombs, bullets, and knives to take down the zombies quickly but also gets injured in the fight. There are more zombies ahead, and as Hae decides to deal with them too. Aiko and his group reach the boiler room soon, and they are taken aback to see the zombies that Miyume has killed. They find her waiting near the boiler switches, griping that if they followed their plan, it would take forever to get this done. Aiko begins activating the boilers without falling for her taunts. But then the warriors check the surroundings to find thousands of zombies climbing up the tower to get them. They freak out and say that killing the zombies in the building only provoked them into action, and Miyume tries to justify herself. SHE says that SHE will take care of this, but Aiko tells her to shut up for a minute and let him focus on the job at hand. Hae makes the boiler work at full power, and his friends begin operating the crane to clear the track. However, the zombies are dangerously close, as Aiko and the samurai decide to head back to the train. However, Miyume is nowhere to be seen, and Aiko decides to forget about her and save his friends instead. Hae tells them to get back to the train while Hae operates the crane here, because they will be in serious danger otherwise. As Aiko tries to lift up the mess of metal from the track, Hae notices Miyume outside to face zombies. SHE is trying to desperately prove to herself that SHE is too good to be discarded. And despite feeling weak and dazed, SHE uses all her power to fight the zombies. Aiko thinks that SHE can manage things on her own, as Hae should focus on the crane. But then suddenly, Hae sees the Bruce Lee of zombies disarming her. The Kung Fu zombie overpowers Miyume and tosses her down to the coal deposit. And Aiko decides to save her instead of operating the crane. As a result, the rubble gets in the way of the train, and the driver is forced to stop it. Meanwhile, Aiko jumps down using a cable and kills the Kung Fu zombie before picking Miyume up. Suddenly, Hae feels the ground rattling, and then an explosion occurs in the boiler building, causing Aiko and Miyume to be buried under the coal. A mysterious black mass rises from the explosion site and takes the form of a giant monster that makes everyone piss their pants. The monster rushes towards the train, and the driver somehow puts it in reverse gear and enters the safety of a hangar. The samurai lowers the hangar gate, and others fire at the monster to slow it down even a little bit. They succeed in their mission, and the gate blocks down the monster's entry. And as it hits the gate, it shatters into several normal zombies. At the same time, Miyume sees a nightmare in which one of her friends was killed, because SHE showed signs of turning into a zombie. SHE was horrified at that, but had to suppress her feelings because her so-called brother, who was actually her master, needed to depart immediately. As SHE wakes up, SHE finds herself buried under a shit ton of rubble, and on top of that, her zombie nature is getting even more severe. Soon, Aiko comes there to take her out, and Miyume asks if Hae thinks this is her fault. Hae tries moving the boulders on top of her as Hae agrees that it is indeed her fault for ruining his plan. But then Hae also made the mistake of letting the crane go to save her. That is why Hae wants to make sure that they survive and make amends for their mistakes. Miyume tells him to just leave her here and escape because SHE can get out herself and kill the zombies too. Aiko replies that SHE is stuck under a rock, and Hae is ready to play the part of the good stepbro because SHE is too weak to do anything right now. SHE says that SHE is strong because SHE has never even been bitten by a zombie. When suddenly, the zombie blood begins overpowering her, SHE freaks out, saying SHE doesn't want to become a zombie, and Aiko quickly feeds her some bottled blood Hae had brought along. As Miyume gulps it all, SHE feels a lot better, and Aiko asks her if they really turn into zombies when they get too hungry. Miyume doesn't have a clear answer, but SHE tells him that everyone in her group turned into zombies. Just then, Aiko notices a horde of zombies coming towards them, and Hae decides to deal with them first before rescuing Miyume. SHE tells him that it is pointless, but Aiko refuses to let her die helplessly when Hae can still fight. Hae loads his piercing gun and then slashes his arm to lure the zombies towards him. While Hae is off fighting zombies in another part of the mine, Miyume loses consciousness and sees the flashback of the time her village got destroyed in a zombie attack. The guards began shooting down even the people who came to seek shelter, accusing them all of being bitten already. They killed Miyume's mom too, and SK was next. But then suddenly, a man on horseback saved her life. As Miyume is busy dreaming, the warriors from the train arrive there and rescue her from the rubble. SK soon comes back to her senses and immediately begins looking for Aiko. SK finds him passed out in a distance with dead zombies spread all around him. SK rushes to his side and finds that he is still conscious despite having been injured severely. They head back to the train, but on the way, the giant black amalgamation of zombies appears again. Miyume knows that it is called a fused colony, but it is her first time seeing it as well. They quickly get on the train while the giant monster forces its way into the tunnel to consume the dead zombies inside. Kurusu asks if they can defeat it, and Aiko's friends think that they can, with the powerful cannon they got from the station. Miyume later explains that there is a single zombie inside the colony that acts as the core, and if they destroy it, the entire colony will perish. The cannon won't be able to reach the core zombie, but SK is positive that it can expose the core so that SK can destroy it. A few hours later, Aiko lifts the rubble to clear the path for the train to move forward, and the fused monster chases after it. Fatty is on the cannon, and Miyume tells him to draw the monster close till the last moment. Hae panics and shoots early, only scraping the monster's head and throwing zombies on the train. The guards stop them, and then Aiko and Kurusu also join the fight. Using the new sword Aiko made, Kurusu can easily pierce the hearts of the zombies. The giant monster jumps on the train and breaks a few cars in the end. But Fatty waits for it to get really close this time. When Hae is confident about hitting it, Hae shoots the cannon towards the core, exposing it. With that, Miyume charges ahead and shoots the zombie acting as the core. The colony explodes with that, and Aiko catches Miyume before heading inside the train. However, they were going too fast to outrun the zombie, and that causes the train to do a sick drift. Ian uses the loudspeaker to tell everyone to lean to the right to balance the train, and they push against the wall to bring the train back on both wheels. With that, they safely cross the city. Soon, the train approaches a city, and everyone eagerly comes out to see if this one still has living people inside it. The city gives them a signal, and everyone rejoices that they can finally rest in peace for some time. They enter the station, and Ian decides to meet the mayor of the city while leaving the train in the hands of the elders. Aiko and the blind engineer tell her that they have run out of metal used to make the special jet bullets, and the train mechanics also need some parts to repair the train. Ian tells them to buy everything they need today because they are going to leave tomorrow. As they are talking about the date, Fatty suddenly remarks that today is the festival where they write their wishes on paper slips and tie them around bamboo plants. This is Mume's first time hearing it, so SK is excited about it. But Aiko says that they won't have the time or resources to do that. However, Ian wants everyone to celebrate the festival to boost their morale. SK gives her personal funds to Aiko to buy the metal as well as the bamboo tree, and Hae gladly accepts it. While the shopping teams go out to the city to refill their supplies, those who remain behind take baths and get the laundry done. The girls go to buy food and clothes, while Aiko and his friend go to stock up on the stuff they need. Meanwhile, Ian goes to the mayor's mansion. But Hae doesn't come out to meet her, so SK heads to the minister instead. SK demonstrates the power of the jet bullets developed by Aiko, and the ministers are very impressed by it. In exchange for the blueprints on the jet bullets to fight the zombies, the minister promises to give enough food for everyone on the train and even agrees to shelter the injured people in the city. In the evening, the shopping teams gather in the market, and as Aiko's friend writes her wishes on a card and hangs it on the bamboo tree, Mume suddenly remembers that SK has seen her mother doing this before. SK quietly runs away from the rest of the group, and when Aiko notices that SK is gone, Hae panics because SK has not taken her lunch. Hae searches for her and finds her sulking at a shrine. Hae gives her the bottled blood, and then Mume begins telling him about her mother and how SK remembers celebrating this festival once before. However, now that SK is a zombie, celebrations and festivals aren't as exciting as before. Mume says that they may be humans now, but they can turn into zombies the next time they wake up. and then they will beat everyone on the train. Aiko doesn't like her joking about such a serious issue and tells her to shut up. Hae says that Hae will turn her back into a human again. And Mume says that Hae won't be able to fight zombies then. Hae declares that there will be no need to do that because Hae will destroy all the zombies. And Hae smiles at him, reminding him of his little sister. At night, everyone writes their wishes on cards and hangs them on the bamboo tree. The fireworks start, and everyone admires them, relishing this peaceful night amidst the house. The next morning, as Aiko wakes up, Hae hears a crowd outside the train. Everyone else wakes up and goes outside to see what is happening when a black train enters the station. People have gathered to welcome the train that is full of liberators, WHO are an independent team of zombie hunters WHO free fallen cities of zombies and return them to people. Soon, the liberators come out of the train, led by the king's estranged son, Biba. Mume rushes to him as soon as Hae sees him. And everyone is shocked to learn that Hae is the big brother Hae always talks about. As Mume eagerly tells Biba everything that happened on their journey. Hae takes his time listening to her, but Aiko is suspicious of him. Hae has heard enough things to wonder if Mume's older brother is a hero. Or just a random warmonger WHO taught Mume that those WHO are weak should be discarded and left to die. As Biba and the liberators march ahead, surrounded by the cheering crowd. Ayame and Kurusu come to greet him. And Biba recognizes her as the niece of some important minister in the capital. Ayame says that Hae never had any idea that Mume was his sister. But Biba says that Hae is not, and Hae just calls him brother. Aiko also arrives there, and Mume introduces him to her brother. Biba is about to introduce himself, but Aiko says that Hae knows Hae is the person WHO taught Mume that those WHO are weak should be left to die. Biba is taken aback at this, and Hae sends Mume to get her body checked by their doctors, while inviting Ayame and Aiko to talk in private. Hae leads them inside his train, but then an emergency comes up. As Hae steps up to fix it. Hae asks one of his subordinates to lead Ayame and others, but Aiko volunteers to stay behind and help him. While they are fixing the train, Aiko asks Biba if Hae really thinks that the weak should die. Biba replies that survival of the fittest is the rule of nature, and Hae believes that one can be saved only if Hae is strong enough to fight. Hae tells Aiko that Hae believes that they shouldn't run away and hide to survive, but fight and defeat the zombies. Hearing his ideas from someone else's mouth leaves Aiko in awe, and Hae suddenly starts seeing Biba in a positive light. Just then, the city guards raise an alarm because a huge horde of zombies is coming towards them. It seems that someone attracted them here on purpose by tying corpses to a horse and making it run towards the city. While the guards alert everyone, Biba and Aiko decide to meet on the battlefield later. Meanwhile, the mayor of the city watches this from a distance, because Hae was working with the king's men to lure the zombies here. Hae is worried now, but the minister from the capital tells him that everything is under control. Hae assures him that they will be able to deal with the zombies thanks to the liberators, and when Biba is on the battlefield, Hae must take action quickly and eliminate him on the king's order. The guards try to shoot the zombies from the wall, and soon the drawbridge is lowered as Biba's train marches to the dangerous area. Hae commands his soldiers to bomb the freedom out of the zombies, and after that, Hae rides ahead into the battlefield himself. His subordinates follow him on their steam-powered bikes and rapidly bring the number of zombies down with ruthless efficiency. Suddenly, some zombies WHO have fused together begin attacking the soldiers, and Mume decides to take care of it. Biba sends his subordinate to support her, and as Hae puts on a mask, Hae awakens her Kabaneri powers as well. They work as a team to separate the fused zombies and then swiftly take them down. While everyone is busy dealing with the zombies, the unlegged man Inoku approaches Biba from behind. Hae draws out his blade and tells Biba that many people are after his life, and Hae has been commissioned by some of them for doing the deed. However, Hae offers to turn to his side if Hae just commands him to. Biba says that Hae has no need for his services, and in rage, Inoku attacks him. Biba quickly dodges his attack and brings him to his knees, saying that Hae was going to betray him in the end anyway. Hae is about to strike him, and Inoku begs for help. Aiko rushes to help him, but Inoku strikes him down without mercy. Aiko goes ahead to confront him, and Biba asks why Hae is feeling sympathy for an assassin whom Hae doesn't even know. Aiko gives a half-assed answer that the man asked for help, but before Hae can argue further, Fatty and Aim come there and apologize on his behalf. Moments later, the mayor of the city is panicking because the assassination failed, when suddenly, Biba's men arrive there. They quickly kill the guards and the minister from the capital and tell the mayor to come with them without making a noise. Back on the battlefield, Aim apologizes to Biba again, and He says that He doesn't mind. He even offers to escort her all the way to the capital. And while Aim takes his offer, as He also feels something weird about it. Later, as the two trains depart for the capital, Fatty asks Aiko what has gotten his panties in a bunch. Aiko gripes about Biba teaching Mume that the weak don't deserve to live. Fatty says that he is pretty much common sense. But then Aiko says that Mume once told him that SKE has never been bitten by a zombie before, which means SKE must have been turned into one artificially. Fatty feels that this conversation is something that could put them in danger. And He says that they should talk somewhere more empty. On the other hand, Mume is getting checked up in Biba's train, and SKE recalls what happened on the day her mother died. Biba threw a dagger at her and told her to save herself. In a desperate attempt, Mume killed them and Wuhao killed her mother. And Biba welcomed her into his group. He told her that her mother would have lived if SKE fought back, and then gave her a new name. Soon, SKE was injected with a zombie virus to turn her into a Kabaneri to fight on his orders. Back to the present, after Mume gets an inspection, Biba tells her to bring Aime's master key to him. SKE tries to ask him the reason for this. But Biba just tells her to do as SKE is ordered. After SKE leaves, He goes to his secret lab, where He has held many zombies captive and also has a huge zombie heart. The mayor of the city is tied there too. And He asks Biba what this place is and why He has brought them here. Biba wants to know about the war 10 years ago when He was abandoned between the zombies. He asks the mayor whose order was it. And He begs for his life as He says that it was the king's order and He had nothing to do with it. At the same time, Aiko is on the roof with Fatty when He suddenly feels the presence of zombies nearby. He can pinpoint their location to Biba's train and wonders why the hell is he carrying the zombies with him. Meanwhile, Mume reaches Aim's office and demands that SKE hand over the master key. Aim asks her what SKE needs it for. But Mume tells her to stop asking questions and hand the key. SKE is ready to take the key by force. But just then, the driver comes there and tells Mume that SKE has the key because SKE was looking after the engine. SKE hands it over to Mume, Wuhao gladly leaves. But then the driver tells Aim that it was just the key to the boiler room. They both wonder why Mume would need the keys when suddenly, Fatty comes running. Because something is happening with Aiko. On the other hand, Mume gives the key to Biba, Wuhao immediately realizes it is not the master key. He tells Mume that SKE was lied to, and probably Aim and others don't trust them fully yet. Just then, Aiko comes knocking at the door, and Biba tells Mume that if he forces his way in here, He will have to kill him. Mume says that SKE will send him away and goes out to talk to him, while Biba's men are already in position to attack him. Aiko confronts Mume about the zombies on the train, and SKE replies that they are here for research purposes. He asks her if SKE became a zombie because of the research as well, and SKE is taken aback. SKE says that SKE chose to become a zombie so that SKE could fight alongside Biba. Aiko says that he is wrong on many levels, but SKE replies that He will never understand how SKE felt. SKE says that it was the only way SKE could become strong and save herself. SKE begins to leave, and Aiko tries to stop her, saying that Biba is not a good man. Mume hits him away, saying that He doesn't understand the first thing about her brother, and then heads back. Aim and Fatty were hearing all this from behind the door, and as they come out, Aiko tells them that Biba is not a hero, but a cruel killer. He tells them that when He killed the assassin earlier, He was smiling, like He enjoyed taking lives. The next day, their train halts at another station, but the authorities there don't let Biba and his comrades enter as the king fears him. This means that Aim's train is going to be separated from them, and while SKE is relieved about it, SKE also wonders if it reduces their chances to make it to the capital. Aiko gathers all the important people, and tells them that He could sense the presence of hundreds of zombies on Biba's train. So it is good that they are getting separated. However, He is worried about Mume. Wuhao decided to go with Biba. Aim also agrees with him, and Aiko promises to bring her back. In the meantime, Aim goes to meet the city's mayor. Wuhao is too kind and unassuming, as He tells her that He has called Biba for a meeting to The king was not in favor of this, but he put the condition that the guests could only bring women and children along with them to get them to agree. However, little does he know that the woman and the girl that Biba is bringing alone are more dangerous than any man. As they head to Mayor's mansion, Fatty spots them and immediately rushes to inform Aiko about it. Soon, Biba and his group reach the Mayor's mansion, and the samurai from the capital immediately points his gun at him because he doesn't trust him. Biba lets him do as he pleases, but then Mume begins to act fidgety, saying as he needs to go to the toilet. The unsuspecting mayor asks someone to show her to the toilet, but Mume uses this chance to knock out the guards and run away. Aiko and Fatty see her running towards the bridge, and they follow her. Mume knocks out all the guards and lowers down the bridge, giving the signal to Biba's men waiting for their chance. Aiko and Fatty reach the bridge just then and ask Mume what the hell is SHE doing. SHE pouts and says that SHE is just letting the liberators in because it is not fair that they are kept out of the city even though they are the ones fighting the zombies. SHE says that they don't mean any harm. But then SHE looks towards the bridge and finds a horde of zombies following the liberators who are on their bikes with bags spraying blood. The guards of the city panic, and Aiko rushes to close the bridge, but on a man slashes the cable and rides ahead, splashing the guards with blood. The zombies break into the town, killing everyone in their way. As the guards ring the alarm, the samurai holding Biba at a gunpoint is distracted, and Biba makes quick work of him. The other samurai is taken out by his bodyguard immediately, and Biba strangles the mayor before killing the last of his guards. Ian takes up a weapon as SHE tells him to stop, but he just throws a knife at her. Luckily, the driver acts as a shield to protect her, and Biba moves on to kill the mayor because he serves his father. Outside, Mume is horrified that this happened because SHE opened the gate, and SHE runs to Biba to question him about it. Aiko wants to follow her, but Fatty tells him that they must go to the train and get everyone out instead. They head to the train where the samurais are holding the zombies at bay, and Kurusu decides to fetch Ian. However, Ian has been taken hostage by Biba and his men, and Kurusu sees them entering Biba's train. On the other hand, the soldiers of the city also panic because they can't seem to do anything against the zombies. They see Biba's train and decide to get on it, but they are all shot down in the name of revenge and retribution. Inside the train, Biba is with his female bodyguard, who knows that SHE is going to die today. He injects her with a special serum, turning her into the core of a fused colony. Metal tentacles emerge from her body, gathering all the zombie corpses around her and transforming into a giant monster. Biba commands her to destroy the gate, and SHE braves the cannon shots and gunfire to throw her on the wall, breaking it. At the same time, Mume reaches Biba and asks him why this is happening. He coldly tells her that this is the world he always hoped for, and Mume's mind goes blank. Just then, the zombie serum overpowers the sanity of the female bodyguard, and SHE turns into a proper zombie. The giant monster melts down as SHE loses control over it, and the scientist behind it is not happy with the result. His assistant says they should use the antidote to bring the woman back to her senses, but he says that it is not worth it. In the meantime, Kurusu sneaks on the train to rescue Ian. He beats the guards, but the scientist pulls out a Gatling gun to hold him back. Seeing him distracted, Ian slams the assistant down and steals the antidote. SHE threatens to throw it if the scientist doesn't stop, and he turns around to shoot her first. Kurusu jumps on him, and they both fall down, leaving Ian worried. On the other hand, the zombie woman goes out of control and begins killing her comrades. The soldiers try fighting back, but SHE overwhelms them with great speed and strength. Some bullets manage to hit her, but that only enraged her to use her special ability to shoot powerful magnetic blasts that destroy entire buildings. SHE then charges towards Biba, and he almost pisses his pants. But SHE stops right before hitting him because SHE still has some lingering feelings for him. He stabs her through the heart, killing her, and Mume is devastated by what SHE just witnessed. The Liberator army gets into action with that, taking everyone at a gunpoint. Aiko tries to resist, but they hit him to the ground, saying they are interested in his blood, and if he resists, he will lose his life. They kill everyone who has been infected by zombies, and Biba climbs on the train to give his speech. He declares that today he has freed everyone here from their cages. He says that humans want to evolve and live freely until they get out and fight the zombies, and that is why he will destroy their shelters and force them to fight alongside him. He declares that this is the path to true liberation, and Aiko curses him. Only to get knocked out. Soon, everyone is held prisoner inside the train. With Aiko being put in a cage, he beats his time scribbling on the ground, while watching the guards and the scientists, while the rest of the people are divided into groups to collect their blood. One of Aiko's friends also sides with Biba's men because he isn't cut out to be a rebel anyway. No one is happy with him, especially Fatty, who is in the blood donation camp today. As he goes inside, he sees one of Biba's lieutenants tormenting a man who just wanted him to spare his wife from blood donation. He asks him to donate blood on her behalf as well, and the man gladly agrees. He shakes the masked guy's hand, only to get his hand chopped off. Fatty stands up against it, only to get subdued by the guards. He visits Aiko later, asking when he is going to take action because he can't stand this anymore. Aiko tells him that he will do it tomorrow night when they come for blood. He says he will get out of the cage and stop Biba with his own hands. At the same time, Biba is having a meeting with Ian. He tells her that if SK wants to ensure the safety of her people, SK will have to get her uncle in the capital to open the gates and arrange a meeting between him and his dad. Ian has no choice but to agree, and then SK asks Biba what he plans to do. On meeting his dad, he tells her that 10 years ago, the king dispatched an army of 400,000 men to eliminate the zombies. Biba was a commander in the army despite being only 12 years old, and they made good progress by freeing many cities from zombies. However, the reinforcements and supplies stopped coming, and gradually, their entire army was destroyed. Biba says that it was on his father's orders, and that is why he is going to punish him for his actions. At night, Aiko explains his plan to his friends. He plans to take control of the engine room on the train, because if he gets it under control, Biba will have to agree to his demands and leave all the hostages. He says that they will do it when the guy who transports blood to the zombies in the front of the train comes. While everyone thinks that the plan is risky, they know that they don't have any other choice. They agree to support Aiko in whatever way they can. Soon, the time of action comes, and right before the liberators come to collect blood, everyone is armed with pipes and tools. Aiko uses a wire to get out of his cage and waits in line to ambush the blood collectors. As soon as they realize that he is out of the cage, the guards surround him. But Aiko's friends release some steam in the room to give their side the advantage in bringing down the enemies. Aiko's friend who switched sides is also about to get mauled by Fatty. But Aiko stops him, saying that he was actually a spy who fed him information about the liberators. Just then, the masked bastard comes there, holding a guy hostage. He throws him ahead and then attacks the remaining rebels. But Aiko blocks his attack and then slams him against the wall. The guy realizes that he is overpowered. But luckily, he has a Glock. He is about to shoot Aiko. But then Fatty knocks him out. With that, they get some real weapons and charge ahead into Beba's train. He gets information about this and gives Mume the mission to deal with them. SK hesitates, and he tells her that if SK doesn't want to work anymore, he will stop giving her the medicine that keeps her human. Despite that, Mume refuses to harm her friends, as Obibe commands his men to take her away. SK runs away on seeing a medicine in their hands and takes down the guards who try to stop her. However, one of the lieutenants knocks her down, and then her zombie heart starts acting up because SK has not been getting enough blood lately. On Beba's command, the lab assistants tranquilize her, and Mume cries out Aiko's name for help before SK loses consciousness. On the other hand, Aiko and Fatty rush ahead as the rest of their friends hold the liberators back. They come to the room right next to the engine room, but no key fits in the hole. Aiko tries blasting the lock, but that doesn't work either, and just then, Bibe and his men arrive there. Bibe says that he knew Aiko would start a rebellion, as he switched the keys. He tells Aiko that his little rebellion is over and shoots him, but Fatty shields Aiko from the bullet. He tells Aiko that he always regretted not being able to help him when he got shot by Kirusu that day. But he can die in peace knowing that he did the right thing today. Aiko is devastated, but Bibe treats him like a science project, asking him to describe how it feels to lose his friend. Aiko walks towards him to kill him, but his right-hand man quickly knocks Aiko to the ground and beats him senseless. Aiko gets up again, only to get his hand shot away, sending his sister as memento. Flying. Fatty notices it and takes it with his dying breath. And in the meantime, Bibe calls Mume to kill Aiko. SHE has been completely brainwashed to follow him, and before Aiko can even try to get back to her senses, SHE stabs him in the chest and throws him out of the train. Bibe tells her that SHE did well and heads back, with Mume standing there like a statue. Soon, Aiko's friends come to the room, and they are heartbroken to see Fatty dead. The officer tells them to head back to their rooms, and the timid girl snaps, telling him to kill them all now if he is going to do that eventually. Beba's subordinates decide to leave them be, and everyone carries Fatty back to their part of the train. Inside the engine room, Bibe tells Mume that his father was always a coward. He always feared that people would come after his life. As when the lights went out suddenly on a night, he swung his blade around, injuring his own son. When he saw what he had done, he refused to take responsibility and said that it was fear that made him do it. Bibe says he hated his father ever since that day, and now he is going to destroy him and his city for good. He injects Mume with the serum that will turn her into the core of a fused colony, because he needs her help to destroy the capital gates. In the capital, the king announces to the people about Beba's tyranny and how he destroyed a city just to attack him. He tells them not to fear because they will defeat Bibe and his army. As he finishes his speech, a communication operator comes to him and says that they should inform everyone about the giant fused monster. But the king just kills him, saying that too much information creates fear. On the other hand, Aiko gets swept to the beach by the waves, where he regains consciousness after seeing a dream where his sister turns into Mume and attacks him. As he wakes up panicking, he recalls Fatty's death and blames himself for it. He thinks that it is his fault everything turned out like this, and he couldn't do anything at all. Suddenly, he notices a zombie coming towards him and immediately runs to seek shelter inside a shipwreck. Back in the capital, Yam's train arrives at the gates and the messengers tell the king that Yam has captured Bibe. The king lets her in on hearing this, and SHE presents Bibe as a prisoner to the guard. However, SHE is just following a script to ensure that her people stay safe. Yam's uncle is also there to welcome her, but he and other officials can't believe that SHE could have captured Bibe. SHE says that everyone on her train worked hard to catch him and asks the officials to let them take shelter in the capital. The officer says that everyone will have to spend a week in jail as part of their quarantine process, and Yam agrees to that. In the meantime, SHE is summoned to the palace alongside Bibe. On the other hand, Aiko is still shuddering from fear inside the ship when suddenly Kirusu arrives there. On learning everything that happened, he is shocked and asks Aiko why he ran away, abandoning everyone. Aiko says he couldn't do anything. And then suddenly, the scientist also comes there with his arms tied and begins inspecting Aiko. Kirusu pulls him away and tells Aiko to come and help him free everyone. Aiko says he can't do it, and Kirusu tells him to stay behind and he leaves with that, and Aiko breaks down. Back in the throne room, Bibe is on his knees before the king, and he asks him to finish him with his own hands if he ever thought of him as his son. The king obliges and tries using a dagger he had once gifted Bibe in the past. However, as he tries pulling it out, a small pin pierces his hand. Bibe suddenly starts monologuing, asking everyone if they know how he survived against the zombies 10 years ago. He says that he can tell zombies and humans apart without inspecting them, and says that there is a zombie amongst them right now. Everyone is on their edge, and then suddenly, the king starts turning into a zombie. A panicked guard shoots him, but the king doesn't die. Bibe tells everyone to shoot him because one shot isn't enough to take down a zombie. The soldiers keep shooting him, and then Bibe gets up to finish the job. He tells his father that he is not killing him, but fear is, right as he stabs his heart. However, that is not the end of his revenge. He announces to the entire city that there might be more zombies hiding in plain sight among them. His words create panic in the minds of the people, and as some people suddenly start turning into zombies, things become violent. People begin attacking each other, and Im's uncle takes her away from danger. While the chaos is spreading, Beba's men kill the guards at the gate to let their train in and airdrop the zombies in the city to completely destroy it. As everything goes according to his plan, Bibe notices a guy stamping on his dad's body and shoots him. Hae sits on the throne and begins thinking about his happy moments with his dad, trying to deal with his remaining daddy issues. On the other hand, Kurusu tries to get a bike in working condition as the scientist tells him to hurry up or they will miss Mumei's transformation. As for Aiko, Hae asks Kurusu to just leave him be, because Hae has given up the will to life and Hae is not of any use to them. However, Kurusu goes to Aiko and tells him that the stab wound Hae got is barely missing his heart, and to make that happen, Mumei must have made some very precise calculations. Kurusu tells Aiko that the only reason Hae is alive is because Mumei saved him. But Hae cannot repay the favor because Hae is about to turn into a real monster now, and that suddenly wakes up Aiko's fighting spirit. At the same time, Mumei is walking through the city full of corpses. Her mutation has begun, and Hae thinks how Hae could not save anyone, and now her dreams are going to never come true. Hae records how her mother used to tell her that butterflies come to take the soul of the dead to the afterlife, and Hae sees them everywhere. Hae feels the energy of her zombie heart erupting out as winds because it's her time now. Her power pulls zombies and corpses to her, turning her into a fused monster. On the other hand, Aiko is giving himself a cool new fate while thinking about what the scientists told him earlier. The special black serum turns female zombies into the core for a fused colony monster, and the only way to save them is by injecting the white plasma serum in them. Hae staples his piercing gun to his hand and then goes to the scientist, telling him to inject him with the black serum that will turn him into the core of the fused monster. The scientist says that the serum works only with female Kabanerists, but if Aiko takes it, Hae will get a huge power boost at the expense of his life force. Aiko is ready to make that deal because the only thing Hae wants to do now is to kill Biba and save Mumei. Hae injects himself with the blue serum and power begins swelling up inside him. It is tied down by the collar around his neck, and the scientist tells him to remove it if Hae wants to use his full potential. Aiko tears the collar away, swearing that Hae won't let someone Hae cares about this time. Aiko and Kurusu head to the station and quickly defeat all the zombies. However, Aiko feels himself losing control over his body ever so slightly. Kurusu tells him that if Hae ever loses control fully and turns into a zombie, Hae will kill him with his own hands. On the other hand, the residents of the capital reach the prison where Aiko's friends are being kept. They want to burn them, saying that they brought the virus here. But just then, Aiko arrives there. Hae assures everyone that they did not bring the virus, and when the people point their guns at her, Hae steps ahead, telling them that they do not need to lose their humanity out of fear. Everyone believes in her, and Hae tells them that they are going to escape the city right now. Meanwhile, Mumei is constantly under attack by the capital's defense forces. But her mind is lost in horrible dreams. Hae sees red butterflies chasing after her as everyone tells her to do. Hae tries swatting the butterflies away and only ends up flattening houses. Biba is pleased with this and makes a plan to escape. And his right-hand man tells him that they will get the train ready. However, when they spot Aiko coming towards them, everyone panics. The right-hand man orders his soldiers to shoot him down. But Aiko knocks them out, saying that Hae is here only for Biba and Mumei. More soldiers take position to shoot him from above. But Kurusu is there to take them down and cover Aiko's back. The lucky number one decides to run a train on Aiko. Quite literally, Hae leads their black train right towards him, while other guards stab him to keep him in position. Aiko manages to shake them off, and then fires a powerful magnetic blast that tosses the train up in the air and causes it to blow up. Aiko doesn't understand how Hae managed to do that, but Hae feels his control over his body loosening even further. Kurusu comes to his side, and Aiko assures him that Hae is still a human. Just then, Biba's subordinate comes there to finish him, but Aiko blocks his attack, and then pierces his heart, saying that someone like him doesn't deserve to live. Biba watches this all from a distance, and a lab assistant comes there with a vial of the antidote in case the worst comes to pass. Biba takes it and then orders his last remaining lieutenant to take their men and escape, while Hae stays back and finishes what Hae started. Hae loosens his collar, ready to unleash the power Hae had been hiding all along. Meanwhile, Aiko and Kurusu are still rushing towards Mumei when suddenly the bridge breaks and Kurusu is left alone to fend off a horde of zombies. Hae tells Aiko that Hae will be fine and tells him to go on ahead. Aiko runs to Mumei, calling her name, and Hae suddenly sees a ray of hope. However, Biba is also there to stop Aiko from interfering with his plans. They clash with each other, and Biba asks Aiko why he sacrificed his life by taking the black serum. Aiko declares that he will save Mume at all costs, and Biba says it is not going to happen. He pushes Aiko away and then tries to stab him, barely missing his heart. Aiko uses this chance to grab and shatter his sword and then leaps at him. Biba manages to keep himself safe and then starts twisting Aiko's arm, but he uses the magnetic pearls to fling him away. Aiko menacingly walks towards him to kill him, and Biba is terrified. But then suddenly, Aiko stops, losing his consciousness. Biba thinks this is his chance, and he stealthily approaches Aiko from behind, aiming to end his life. While this is happening, Mume tries to cling on to hope that Aiko's voice gave her, and as he tries to reach out to the blue butterfly among the red ones, as he drops the stone Aiko carried into the pond near them. Just as Aiko hears the sound of the stone dropping into water, he snaps back to his senses and turns around to stab Biba. He blows away his arm, and Biba falls into the pool. Aiko rushes to Mume and hugs her tightly as he injects the antidote into her body. The antidote shows effect immediately, and Mume begins turning normal, with the metal tentacles surrounding her body melting down. The giant monster also turns into a puddle of black goo, and when Mume wakes up, he is completely normal. He finds Aiko unconscious in the distance and tries reaching to him. But Biba comes there just then and starts shooting at him. Mume asks him to stop, but he doesn't because he is still adamant to fight it out with Aiko. He gets closer to stab him, but then Mume counterattacks and stabs him through the heart with an iron spike. He apologizes for this, but says that they are going to live despite being weak, and make their dreams come true. Meanwhile, Aime and others are gathering all the survivors in the train. They wonder which route to take, because they are sure that Biba must have left on a route safe to escape. Just then, his remaining subordinate comes there with all their soldiers and offers to tell Aime what SHE needs to know if SHE lets them on board. No one is ready to believe them, and a girl even goes ahead and slaps the men. However, Aime agrees to let them on board for everyone's well-being, and the guy gives her the good news that Aiko, Mume, and Kurusu are still alive. Back at the battle site, Mume is watching over Aiko, who appears like life has been sucked out of him. Kurusu also arrives there, and despite their tries, they can't get Aiko to wake up. Just then, they hear their friends calling out to them from the train, telling them to meet them at station number 13 to escape. Kurusu lifts Aiko on his shoulder and tells Mume to get ready too. They run to the train, quickly getting past the zombies in their way. Everyone is standing there with a blanket to catch them, and Mume is moved to tears. As SHE sees this, SHE eats Aiko first and then follows after him. Kurusu also jumps to the train and stumbles, but Aime holds him, causing him to turn red with embarrassment. With them on board, the driver puts the train in full throttle. The track crumbles as they leave, and soon, the capital falls into ruin too. Inside the train, Mume tries to wake Aiko with tears in her eyes. SHE begins shaking him, and he suddenly wakes up, telling her to let him sleep. SHE jumps on top of him with joy and then suddenly finds that the symptoms of the black serum are vanishing. SHE realizes that in the end, Biba shot Aiko with the antidote to have some sort of redemption, and SHE is happy about it. Everything gets to normal with that, and Mume hands Aiko the memento of his sister as their journey continues.